Hello, everyone. Welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host, Liam, aka Himvar, and thanks for joining me today. It's my weekly update, mostly where I just talk about the books I read this week. I should be talking about the things I wrote this week as well, but I'm so out of the habit of writing, it's terrible. Blame my job. I haven't really gotten a good funk of it, or a good routine of it since starting my job, but that was over 2 years ago. So, anyways, this week I finished 4 books, which is normal for me. Let's see. I only finished one of them that I have physically here. So I finished Ancient My Enemy by Gordon R. Dixon, sci-fi short story anthology collection, I guess technically. I've never read anything by Dixon, but I I just wanted to try something, and this is what I had on hand, and I actually enjoyed it. But I enjoyed the first story probably the most. Um, I don't know. They weren't bad stories. I'm like I said, I'm glad to read it. Mostly when I think of Dixon, actually, I think of the blurb that he gave Lynn Abbey for her books, like right at the beginning of her career, right? I think because Lynn Abbey like drove him around for some, it took him from the airport or something for some convention. But anyways, Ancient My Enemy, it was okay. Then I finished The Return by Walter de la Mare. And I've read something by de Mare before, but I cannot remember what de la Mare. I cannot remember what for the life of me. I really enjoyed this one actually. I'm kind of mixed on it because it's just so like almost nothing happens. You have like different conversations in the same conversation a couple times. Maybe it kind of ends on like a note. But this is a story essentially about losing your identity in a sense, really, during crisis. But it is also strictly supernatural. It is a story about possession by a ghost, technically. So it was enjoyable. I was reading this one digitally, and so I need to get it physically, and I would like to read it again. Actually, there's some nice use of language in particular, but very, very psychological in a sense, and very character driven. Is I really enjoyed it. Actually, I really enjoyed The Return by Walter de la Mare. And then I also finished Lord of Blackthorn by Jason Kingsley. Enjoyed this one as well. It took me a little time to get to it. My main gripe with it is that it feels like he's trying really hard to be authentically medieval while not being strictly medieval. It doesn't seem to be strictly our world, but really, really, really close to our world. What's the one thing he makes sure he changes? Well, the main character is not Christian or not the equivalent of the Christian stuff. What the character kind of falls into is it just feels like some new age stuff, new age like laziness is really what it feels like. And so it's just funny to me because Kingsley is so focused on his medieval stuff, and I just imagine he's not religious himself, and maybe that's why he thought this would be cooler. To me, it just feels silly, right? When you're like so intent on getting all this accuracy, and then there's literally not a single like religious person in the whole book. Just weird. But it was enjoyable besides that, and that's just a minor gripe, really. It's just the one that stands out because I think it's kind of obvious when you know what he's going for. Like you can kind of tell that like this is an interesting exclusion you got going on here. Right, and the last book I finished was Witchy Eye. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more the second time around. This is essentially epic fantasy. It's got the trappings of epic fantasy. Right, we have like a Gandalf type character, a call to adventure, right? Like you not who you think you are, right? Type of thing going on. Enemies chasing you, this epic quest. I mean, like it's got a lot of cool stuff in it. And it doesn't have the annoying aspects of that. For example, our main character is actually competent, and she'd actually already trained in magic at the beginning, at least in some form. And this is the story of Sarah Calhoun, who finds out she's only 15 and that maybe she is not the daughter of the Elector Andy Calhoun. This is alternate history America. There's sort of a Holy Roman Empire thing going on. It's 1815. But man, it's so good. It's so good. I mean, there's so much going on in this book, but at the same time, it's still really accessible. Yeah, I feel like your two main threads beginning are Sarah with Calvin and with Tholinus, and you also have Bad Bill in New Orleans. He was kind of like this fallen paladin knight figure. Man, it's good. It's so good. I don't know how to describe this book. Besides the fact that it just amazes me. And one thing that also that it just gets so much attention on like world building. It's like super interesting, right? You have like an Igbo bishop. You have a Bantu. You have Hodusani. You have so many like different like peoples. You have a kingdom of Cahokia, right? In like so much going on, right? And it just gets better as the series goes on, as I'm from what I'm remembering. Um, Gosh, I really enjoy this. And you have like beast people. You have like this weird god of the Mississippi. You have undead liches, kind of necromancers, like necromancer Oliver Cromwell, for example, or even small things like, oh, Europe is mostly Muslim at this point, right? Napoleon formed a caliphate for France, and the Ottomans seemingly got through Vienna in the past, and in Britain has reconverted back into paganism, which is actually kind of explained in a story called De Britannici. But um, anyways, it's so good. I really enjoyed reading this. I'm really happy with it. I'm looking forward to reading Witchy Winter. I read this before, but I read this in 2018, which is the year after it released. So it's been a minute, a few years before I started my channel, and several years from now. Yeah, that's the books I finished. I did start a good number of books or restart a book. So I did restart reading again Majority by Abby Goldsmith. I actually started reading this one back in 2023, which is when it released. I think what happened is my son was born, and for some reason I just stopped reading it. There was no real reason. I wasn't like disinterested in it for any means. So I am enjoying it. It is interesting, like kind of take on aliens, sort of. It is sci-fi. It's interesting. It's kind of an interesting start. It kind of feels more like a mutant-esque sci-fi, but then we get into more alien stuff. So I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm gonna figure it out. I'll read more of that. I got to talk to Abby a little bit at LTE, which is kind of what reminded me that I need to read this. So I also am a good chunk of the way through Pushing Ice by Alistair Reynolds. Really enjoying that as well. I think Reynolds is great. I mean, I've never been like, okay, that's maybe not true. I'm not like a huge fan of Reynolds, but he's almost perfect. It feels like, I don't know if there's just something missing that makes me just like, when people ask me my favorite authors, I don't list them, but like Eversion, phenomenal. House of Suns, I love it. Right? Like Chasm City is great. I haven't actually read that much by him though, so I'm gonna definitely be reading more. But Pushing Ice is the next one I decided to read. Kind of has a big dumb object thing going on, so just sounded fun right now. Speaking of big dumb object, though, I'm also not quite halfway through The Ringworld Throne by Larry Niven. I'll probably review this on this channel, but I did not review the first two books because I read them, again, before I started this channel. I think I read them actually both the same year I started this channel, so earlier in the year. I'm actually enjoying it. I mean, the one thing you have to be used to at this point with the Ringworld books is Rishathra, which is this ritualistic sex act that the hominids on the Ringworld participate in. But Ringworld is just such a classic. Honestly, I really like it. Niven is kind of hit or miss in some ways because like Integral Trees by him really didn't hit for me at all when I read that. Again, also before I started my channel. But and then I think the last like fiction book here is Sink by B. Harlan Crawford, the second of the Keen Blades. I'm really close to finishing this one. It's really short, obviously, so I'll finish it this next week. But I like it. Good sword and sorcery. It's more like it's actually in some ways really similar to Witchy Eye, except for it's not focused so much on world building. It's weird. It is. If Witchy Eye is to Tolkien, then this is to Robert E. Howard and in particular Solomon King. Right. So they're both flintlock fantasy. This and Witchy Eye. The other things I have been reading a good amount this week are the Politically Incorrect Guide to Science Fiction Fantasy by DJ Butler. I have no clue about I actually asked me to try. My friend showed me that is a conservative publisher. I have never read anything else by them. I mostly got this because it's DJ Butler. And I like DJ Butler. It hasn't actually been there's not many hot takes in it so far, I'd say, but some nice insights from Butler. The later chapters definitely get more into hot topics, I would say. But I'm not there yet. So I am enjoying it. It's not encyclopedic. So doesn't cover like everything, but it does cover some good stuff, especially if you're not overly familiar, I think, with science fiction fantasy history. So far, I could recommend it. Also, reading a little bit more Key to Keystone. I don't really have much to say right now. I'm not sure on the tone of it. It's really snarky, and it makes me laugh sometimes, but it's just like I'm not sure. Because you can be snarky, but feel more academic in a sense. And that definitely doesn't feel academic in some sense. It feels like it's close because it's looking at a lot of ancient texts, right, that need to be translated. But speaking of snarky, though, Tom Shippey has great humor, but he feels very academic. So I'm rereading this actually with my buddy Sean because it's short, and I wanted to reread it. So I'm on chapter 1. I'm really not that far into it, but it is great as it was the first time I read it. So hopefully I'll read more of that soon. Anyways, that's my weekly update. Let me know what you've been reading. Oh, it's a new setup as well. I have a couple videos I've already filmed in this new setup. This might be the first one that comes out, really, besides shorts. I redid my bookshelves because we moved the bookshelves essentially into a new room. Look at the Spiral Wars right there. Oh. I'm not too much into physical books anymore because I just don't have the money or really a space for them. But I would love to get more of the Spiral Wars. The Homecoming I don't have, which is book 9, I think. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So 9, I don't have book 9, and 10 came out as well, and I don't have it physically either, Precursor. But I also haven't read it, so I want to read Precursor soon when I get the chance. So, anyways, yeah, if you notice, and we're not quite done rearranging, but the bookshelves probably stayed the same. It was Lean from Winds. Let me know what you've been reading.